the center of the cafe. He looked at everyone. The time was now 2:35. He said, "I have some questions. First, Sarah, you love mysteries. You were reading a book about detection. You were sitting very close to Mr. Harrison's table. You could have taken the watch easily, but you didn't. Why? Because you are left-handed, and the watch was on Mr. Harrison's left wrist. A right-handed person would have taken it more easily." Sarah looked surprised. She said, "How did you know I'm left-handed?" Inspector Green pointed to her pen. He said, "You hold your pen in your left hand. I noticed that when you were writing in your notebook. So you are not the thief." Then Inspector Green looked at David. He said, "David, you were on the phone at 2 o'clock. I checked your call history. The call ended at exactly 2 o'clock. But Mr. Harrison noticed his watch was missing at 2:03. So you had time to take it. But there is one problem. You were talking loudly. Everyone could hear you. If you had stood up, everyone would have noticed. So you are not the thief." Then Inspector Green looked at Mrs. Thompson. He said, "Mrs. Thompson, you were writing a letter. You said you noticed the stranger looking at the watch. That was very honest of you. But you are also not the thief. Why? Because you are 60 years old. You have arthritis in your hands. I noticed you were shaking slightly when you were writing. You would not be able to remove a tight watch from someone's wrist quickly. You are not the thief." Then Inspector Green looked at the stranger. He said, "And you? You said you were sitting here, but I noticed your coat is very wet. Why? Because you went outside. You went outside, and you threw something away." The stranger's face turned pale. Inspector Green said, "I found this outside." He pulled out a small object from his pocket. It was a gold watch. Mr. Harrison shouted, "That's my watch." Inspector Green smiled. He said, "Yes, it is." The stranger started to shake. He said, "How did you know?" Inspector Green said, "It was simple. You arrived at 1:55. You sat in the corner. You ordered only water. You didn't look at anyone. You were trying not to be noticed. At 2 o'clock, when Mr. Harrison went to the restroom, you quickly stood up, took the watch, and walked outside. You hid it behind the trash can. Then you came back inside. But your coat was still wet. That was your mistake. You also didn't count on Mrs. Thompson noticing you." The stranger hung his head. He said, "I needed money." "I'm sorry," Inspector Green said. "I understand desperation, but theft is never the answer." He handcuffed the stranger and led him out of the cafe. The rain continued to fall. Mr. Harrison put his watch back on his wrist. He said, "Thank you, Inspector. Thank you so much." Sarah closed her book and her notebook. She said, "That was amazing. You are a brilliant detective." Mrs. Thompson smiled and said, "I'm glad I could help." She folded her letter and put it in an envelope. Inspector Green smiled and said, "I just pay attention to details. And I listen to everyone. That is the secret. Now, let's learn from this story. First, let's look at the past continuous tense. We use it to describe actions that were happening at a specific time in the past. For example, Sarah was reading a book. David was talking on the phone. Mrs. Thompson was writing a letter. The stranger was watching the rain. We use was or were plus the verb with ing. Second, let's look at past simple. We use it for completed actions. For example, Mr. Harrison stood up. He walked to the restroom. The stranger took the watch. He hid it outside. Sarah closed her book. These are all finished actions. Third, let's learn some useful vocabulary for mysteries. Heirloom, a valuable family object. Thief, someone who steals. Investigation, the process of finding out the truth. Clue. A piece of evidence. Suspicious. Making you think someone might be guilty. Confess. To admit that you did something wrong. Arthritis. A condition that causes pain and stiffness in the joints. Fourth, let's learn some common expressions. He was trying not to be noticed. This means he wanted to be invisible. His face turned pale. This means he became very white because of fear or shock. He hung his head. This is a gesture of shame or sadness. Pay attention to details. This means notice small things carefully. And here is the most important lesson from this story. Details matter. In learning English, details matter too. A small word, a small pronunciation, a small grammar rule can make a big difference. Just like Inspector Green paid attention to details, you should pay attention to details in your English learning. Now, here's a challenge for you. Think about the story. Who was your favorite character? Was it Inspector Green? Was it Sarah? Was it Mrs. Thompson? Was it Mr. Harrison? Write a short paragraph describing one character. Use at least 3 adjectives. Use past simple and past continuous. Practice your English. And remember, every detail you learn brings you closer to fluency. Thank you so much for listening to the mystery of the missing watch. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. And I hope you feel more confident in your English. If you liked this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, you will never miss a new story. Every week, we share a new story to help you learn English in a fun and natural way. And please leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Tell me, what would you have done if you were Inspector Green? Would you have noticed the wet coat? Would you have talked to Mrs. Thompson? Write your answer in the comments. Let's practice English together. Until next time, keep your eyes open. Pay attention to the details. And never stop learning. See you in the next story.